And we are live. Robert Weichelt here for another episode of Weichelt Wednesday with my good buddy, Brian Culhane. How are you, buddy?
Hey, Robert. Doing great, brother.
That's cool, man. Well, you know what? Let's get right into it because we've got a lot to share. We've got a special guest, and it's really important for you tuning in at home to really pay attention because you're going to walk away with some big time nuggets. Brian, tell the audience, who's Brian Culhane?
Well, thank you, sir. Well, that's a loaded question. I'm a collector and cultivator of success stories. I hail from the lakes of Chicago. I'm the son of Michael and Judy and Janet and John and Francis and Mary. I left all my friends and family behind, threw all my clothes in a garbage bag about the ripe old age of 27. And jumped in my buddy's car, rolled out to Arizona. I like to say I did 29 tours of duty, but they were Chicago winters. And I just wised up and said, I want to be in the sunny weather. So I rolled out to Arizona, all my clothes in a bag, responded to a Craigslist ad. It was Glenn Sanford looking for a team leader. And that was in 2004, 2005. And I jumped in with 2 feet and so some might refer to me as the first president of EXP or the first follower of Glenn Sanford. But currently I'm referring to myself as the 5th largest shareholder.
Amen, brother. Well, you know what? You've definitely, you braved those 29 winters. You've come out to Scottsdale, Arizona and having a great lifestyle. You got introduced to who somebody is an amazing, powerful force in the real estate industry, but in the world, outside of real estate, he's, I read the fact that he's, one of the billionaires list, and the guy is just an amazing, humble human being like yourself. Everybody that I've reached out to, everybody that I've talked to within EXP, top brass to the agent that just got their license last week, I noticed one common thing: as they're humble, they give back. And it's one team, one dream mentality. And that's a true statement. It's not just a cliche. It's a true deal. So thanks for sharing who Brian is. What I want to do is I want to go over 3 things that agents that are tuning into this need to know about EXP. The first thing is, a lot of times people think that we already have over 50,000 agents. There's no more time. What do you say to that?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's kind of blows my mind, Robert, because, let's say the first 6.5 years, when we would go around and try and get people to look at this, we were EX who, right? Like, who are you guys? You guys are, you don't have an office? Like, get out of my office, kid, right? And, good luck with that video game platform, right? And, no one took us serious. It took us 6 years to get to 1,000 agents, right? But then at some point we started getting a little momentum. We doubled after that. 6 months after that, we doubled again. And we brought in 35,000 agents in the last 2 years. We're only 11 years old. But if you think about the big trajectory, but what's amazing to me though, before I get to that, is that how quickly we went from you guys aren't big enough to you're too big. Right? To it's not, there's too much risk in the opportunity. And it's almost like we hit this crest and now it's, the opportunity's already passed me by. Yeah. And I sit there and I think, I just scratch my head because number one, if I've made one mistake with this company over the years, it's not truly understanding just how big of an opportunity I have in my hands. And that has consistently been the challenge, is thinking big enough. That's actually one of Glenn's old phrases was, if you're not, he'd sit there and say, are you thinking big enough? Right? If it ain't broke, break it, was another way he would say that. A lot of people, we know Glenn, the billionaire now that's on the cup, Forbes just bought Success Magazine and so forth and so on. But it's funny, I'll share with you a funny story, just how enlightened a leader he's always been. Even back when he first brought me in those old the old days off the Craigslist ad, he hired me to be the team leader. I was still in real estate school, by the way, Robert. I had no business accepting that position. Yeah. And he said, I said, thanks, boss. And he goes, don't call me boss, call me coach. So to this day, he's my coach. I call him coach. You know, I don't call him the billionaire. I don't call him, I'm his student. He's my coach, and I'm sticking to that. But, you know, it's funny, to answer your question directly. We're just getting started, right? We're only 11 years old. I mean, we're opening up what, 3 or 4 countries a quarter now, with Michael Valdez and the global team that we're bringing in, and Dave Kennard. I mean, we just brought in since the beginning of the year, we brought in something like 43 brokerages and 30 top teams. So, you know, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for, you know, if you're sitting there right now watching this and thinking, well, you know, I've got a big business. Think about why all these top people, think about why the Cardones are coming over. Think about why, you know, Tarek El Moussa and all these major brands are coming to EXP and, you know, at some level putting their businesses inside of our business, because they see the big picture. They see that they can leverage the international growth, the national, the North American growth, to put their brands, their proprietary knowledge into the hands of more agents around the world. So if you just look at it, maybe even a 500,000 global projection, right? 500,000 agents, maybe 50 countries, right? We say. That means currently today, we just hit 50,000. We're only 10% of the way there. So if you look at a pie chart and think about opportunity versus market share, you know, we've only taken up 10%. There's still 90% of that pie waiting for someone like you or someone watching this call today to go out and put their fingerprints all over. So if these opportunities past you, you couldn't be more wrong.
You know what? So with that said, there is still a ton of time. So let's get to the next question. And that was great. Life-changing opportunities. Talk to me more about that.
Well, you know, I sat down with Glenn for dinner a couple weeks ago. You know, he was in town. He's got, you know, they've got some Debbie, they have some family here, and they were RVing, so they were being COVID friendly. And you know, we all had our masks on. But he was, we were in town for dinner, and he was asking me about my personal brand and kind of what my purpose was, and you know, we were again coaching me. Whenever I'm with Glenn, I'm like, what's your, you know, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? How do you? And so we were just talking about my personal brand. And at one point, I look at him and I said, "Well, what's your personal brand? You know, what's your purpose?" And he said, "Brian, it's to create a company that creates more millionaires than any other company in history." I mean, without missing a beat, he said that, right? So we've already started. I mean, at some level, we've created more millionaires than I can count. And again, it's not just, it's almost like, or millionaire mindsets, right? It's like, you know, you mentioned earlier about our business and how we really truly have this sort of one team, one dream concept. Well, what I would say attributes a lot to that is the fact that we're all shareholders. And that shareholder piece in Glenn's infinite wisdom is such a huge piece, because I'll never forget when he shared this with me. He said, "Brian, you know, one of the first things every real estate agent should do," and I just started, right? I mean, I was brand new. I didn't know nothing about nothing. I didn't even know what real estate, like what we were doing, right? And he goes, "Brian, the first thing every real estate agent should do when they get their license is start a brand and call themselves the CEO of their brand." And I'm like, "Well, wait, I'm your employee. Like, what do you mean be the CEO of my brand? That's great." He goes, "Brian, no. He goes, your vibration levels will elevate." Okay. And he said this to me 16 years ago. And I was like, "All right, whatever, dude. You know, that's wonky. You know, that's foo-foo, you know, frou-frou, whatever, you know, woo-woo stuff." And I said, "But listen, it's true. You know, over the years, I've noticed my vibration levels have elevated." So I think that shareholder piece, the fact that you join EXP, you do one transaction, you get stock, your first transaction, that's a vibration elevation play that Glenn built into our model. You're going to start thinking differently. I go to shareholders meetings. "Hey, Robert, what are we doing for shareholders this year? I'm going to wear my jacket. I'm going to put on a blazer with a little pocket square in it," right? Like, you just start thinking, I'm the CEO. I'm a shareholder. You know, you're not agent number 10,000. You're not employee number. You're not hanging your license with. You're not going to work for. You are partnering with EXP. You are a shareholder. You are a future millionaire.
Yeah, you know what? That is huge. And you hit the nail on the head with the CEO. This is an entrepreneurial spirit type of environment. The entrepreneurs that are watching this, need to really watch this again and again and reach out to us and talk
100%.
more about this.
It's like a real estate think tank.
Yeah. And it leads me to my third and final question, separate business. Talk to me more about that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's a couple really big mistakes people will make when they examine this opportunity. And one of them, I think, is the classic, I mean, it's like that movie Princess Bride, right? You fell for the second most classic blunder of all time. The first being don't get in a land war with China. Second being never battle with a Sicilian when death is on the line, right? Or whatever, never get into a chess match. Well, it's similar. There's classic blunders. And one of them is thinking that if you join EXP, you've got to take on this whole second business. Like, I got my sales business, but I can't possibly add this attraction to my business. It's almost like it's a separate business in their mind, and they think, I don't have enough on my plate, right? And I could do a whole hour on the plate, right? I think your plate, in a lot of respects, what's your plate? Your plate is your nervous system. Okay. So if you think of your nervous system, what's your nervous system? It's your brain, your spine, and your nerve endings, right? So think of it as an upside down tree, right? So you got the roots is your brain, and then the tree extends throughout your entire body. Well, you can literally condition your nervous system to take on more. Just think about working out or hiking or training. You do a little bit today, you come home, you rest. A couple of days later, you can do a little bit more next time, a little bit more next time. All you're really doing is conditioning your muscles and your nervous system to take on more. Well, how do you do that? Well, you got to add extra weight to the weight. You can do 20 reps today. Well, you don't just do 20 reps tomorrow. You add a little more weight, then you do, so it's like, well, the business is the same, right? Yeah. Your daily workload is the same as what you're lifting at the gym, right? Or how many miles you're running on the treadmill. You just keep adding more to the plate, and eventually the plate doesn't overflow. The plate gets bigger. And so the more you add to your business, the more capacity you're going to be able to do more, because you're conditioning your nervous system or your limbic system or your business system to take on more. It's going to force you to refine your processes. It's going to force you to improve your systems, maybe scale, right? And all those things are really critical to have a successful, thriving business. Just like that tree needs to continually grow branches, because if it's not growing branches, Robert, what's it doing?
It's dwindling away.
Right?
Yes.
So a business that's not pushing itself and growing and adding more to the workload is, in effect, dying.
So bottom line, we're a real estate company. We're all about production, but you're going to organically grow your team and be compensated for that, not only in revenue share, but in stock for everything you're already doing.
Well, think about this. Like they say, you remember the cash quadrants, right? Rich dad, poor dad, cash quadrants. You had the 4 quadrants. You got job in the left-hand column. You got a self-employed underneath that. You've got business owner. You got investor on the right-hand side. Well, 80% of the population has a job or self-employed. 80% of the wealth is a business owner or investor. What's the difference between being self-employed and a business owner? Nothing. What do they do differently? Business owners employ systems and teams. Self-employed people do it all themselves. So just the mere fact of joining EXP, you can leapfrog from being a self-employed real estate independent contractor to being a team builder. You bring one person to your organization. Oh, by the way, you do one deal and you are now a shareholder. So you're actually in the investor space now. And so that transference to the right-hand column is critical. It's a transformational step in everybody's development. You go from being transactional to transformational, right? That's everything. And so to just kind of put a big bow on that whole point is that, we're not doing a separate business. You're already doing it. You're already interacting with real estate agents. You just don't have a vehicle to monetize it yet, being an XYZ brokerage. When you come to EXP, you now have a vehicle that can monetize your entire Rolodex. Absolutely.
You know what? This has been powerful. There's still time. It's life-changing opportunities we covered, and the separate business, the agents, we're going to teach them through our features and benefits and our tools to do more business and organically grow your team. And for every transaction, you're getting stocks for your shareholder. I know me, I didn't have a retirement exit strategy before. I was just doing more transactions. And I thought myself, well, I could probably do this till I'm 80. I don't know. But what we do is we've got so many opportunities now. So what I want to do is ask you, Brian, and first of all, I want to thank you so much for being on. You inspire me, brother. Man, I tell you, what's the message that we want to leave the agents that are watching this that are not yet with EXP? And I always like to say not yet, because once you see this, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
What's the message we want to tell the agent tuning in today? What's the message?
Great question. Again, I would have to take this back to the mindset space. If Glenn was anything over the years that I realized, it's that he was a manifester, right? I mean, he even had a group that he started a few years ago called the Manifester Society. And what is a manifester? Well, a manifester is somebody who understands that it's sort of the secret, right? Thoughts become things, right? I just heard Tyrese say this from the 10X stage the other day. Visions are physical. Brandon Cardone, I just went to 10X 360 with Brandon Cardone, who's with Brandon Dawson, who's Grant Cardone's business partner and the CEO of Cardone Ventures. And he says, he has a line, they literally have it on the mat they put down when you're getting on their private jet. Okay. It's emblazoned on the mat. It says, thoughts, what you think is what you say is what you do, and what you do becomes your legacy. So the question is, all starts with what you think. So to answer your question, everybody needs to have a vision, right? Or you need to have that purpose. Glenn always talks about have your business lead with purpose or profit, right? Which one does it lead with? Because if you lead with profit, you'll never get there. If you lead with purpose, now you have a vision. So the question is, how big is your why? Okay, to steal a question out of Glenn's playbook, how big is your why? And are you a part of a big enough vehicle to allow you to get there? Because if you're not, just like the shark in a fishbowl only grows to be 6 inches, a shark in the ocean grows to be 6 feet. What's the difference? Well, one's contained in a smaller vessel. So if you need to be a part of a bigger vehicle, listen, Robert, you're probably a much better real estate agent than me. I'm sure there's people on this call that are way better real estate agents than I ever was. I have more strikeouts than I have home runs in real estate, right? I lost more $1 million closings the day before close than most people, and I'm just gonna make more money than everybody else because I'm a part of a better vehicle called EXP.
Amen, brother. Well, you know what? This has been fantastic, and I appreciate your time. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Weichelt Wednesday. My friend, Brian Culhane, I tell you, brother, it is an absolute honor. Thank you so much for being on, and I will see you soon, my friend.
Absolutely, brother. Anytime.